This is just AMZN for Friday, April 30th, 2021. So one thing kind of surprised me about how Friday turned out. I thought we were going to have a bit more of a higher high. Uh, we have a new higher high by less than $2. When I did the video Thursday, it looked like we were coming in about 35.50, and what I drew was a little bit higher. I thought we'd run up, do like a double top, come back down. We did have that general shape. Double top, came back down, we did some retest, coming back down, retest, came back down. So we had the general shape with the double top in there, which was really good. But I thought this high and the double top that it made were going to be probably further up like here, or actually I think I drew it like up in like the 36 something, 3600s. And then looking back at, let me clear this and get out of this. Looking back, oh, I have to turn it extended hours. Looking back at the reaction after earnings. Oh boy, hang on. Where are we? Sorry. There we go. Okay. let me zoom in on this. So in here, so I was looking at this again, and what I saw was we actually did like a double top off of this. I drew that horribly. So we did a, I'm gonna exaggerate it. We did a run up here, came back down, ran up again, and came back down. And then you can keep drawing, like I drew it in as like some sort of like a triangle, like this. Just zoom in on just this. Yeah, so that's like a triangle there. So what I was drawing, looking at this after hours, was seeing this kind of a triangle shape and putting the stair step, and then that broke down, and then here, and then here's Friday here. We pretty much just opened within this range, pretty flat from where we ended up here. And I guess what I was thinking is we were going to have a further higher run up and do like a double top up here. Well, we had technically already done that, and then did another one. So we made this pattern, so it makes sense we're not going to do it again up here. We already did it. So here we are further down and repeating that kind of a pattern. I mean, really, that's what we got here. So let me turn off extended hours. Well, you know what? No, let me do it again. Let me zoom in on this and this and just focus on, okay. So we had triangle here, triangle here. I'm going to draw it like that. This turns into a bigger one like this, or you can draw it kind of a little flatter. That's a mess. Okay, this one is part of a bigger one and still broke down. This is just getting going. Basically, what this tells me is the way you can draw this, where you have consolidations, breakdown, like this choppiness, you can see this shape all over the place. So you have it in here, the earnings reaction. You have some of it in here. You have the bigger one between here and here. That's breaking down. And I'm guessing we're going to have a bigger one like this. That's going to be this much bigger, like much, much bigger, but we haven't built it out yet. I think we're going to come down a little more. That's what I'm trying to say. So let me turn off extended hours. We'll just look at how things moved on Friday. All right, so let's just zoom in here. Actually, right here. So we dropped, we came back down into Friday's range, high wave candle to open up Thursday. High wave candle in that same zone, like really in the same region, like almost made the same high, almost made the same low. All right, a little bit lower here if you include this candle. So, and then we bounced from there, like had a really strong 10 minutes and then got a little choppy and a little toppy, and a double top came in, and it started to sell off. And it was a sharp sell off, didn't even hold the 21. Came back, got retested the 21 from below, and then ran out, put in some small candles, started to roll over. Nope, not yet. Then it was starting to roll over. But still, it was, I mean, from this point here of this rollover, it took about an hour and a half for this thing to really start to get going here. And during this time, we'll take a look at the option I wanted to focus on. It's the 34.75 call and put. So it put in the initial lows here. The call doesn't have very much premium through this whole range. It's just so expensive. But you can still see some of the levels. So we put in a base here, put in a base, continued that base, and then it started to break down. And as that's breaking down, we're getting a rally here, come back down into that same price of the put over here. All the while, the call can't really recover. It can't even get back up to this level. So it may not be the best call to look at, but really the put, right out the gate. I mean, if you just had an order open, if you're going to do more than $100 risk, do absolute zero, just have something out there. I mean, you could have had an order anywhere, between it opened at the low was, let's see, the open and the low was 260. It's so hard to know the open price after earnings, but it was still a gap up, and I mean, this is what happens to earnings. So the price plummeted from the close was $70 down to $2.60. Well, 7,000 to 260. So anybody who thought it was going to, have a different kind of move, they just lost a ton, or people who were selling here, they made a ton. So it makes sense that if they're selling, they're going to buy to close, and that's where some buying is going to come in. So anyway, it's normally I like having the last candle from the previous day on the chart. It's just too hard to do that like this. So we're just going to zoom in here. So yeah, came down from 70 all the way down to 260, and it just ran. So you would have had to been really quick to have, or just had an order out and have a larger risk than $100. But then it kept coming down to this level. So 260 was the low here, came down, put a low of 150. So about $100 lower. You could just about do that with $100 risk at this price. But why have that order sitting out over here when we know that we have an idea it should have a double top here. It's going to have some sort of rally, and it's not going to hold. So get in on one of these smaller candles. These smaller candles had much better range. And then you're getting in, anticipating a rollover and looking for that kind of a move. So the rollover kind of move. So getting in even 2 by 1 here, you're looking for 8 hours on a Friday. So that would have been 10. Doesn't get up there. Gets up to 725. If you'd gotten in with the entry at 2 and a stop at 1, that actually would have held all day. And well, not all day. You would have had to wait till over here. But you could have done that order again. Let's see. Yeah, 2 by 1 worked over here. But this time didn't go up to 10. You would have had to hold through a pullback, and then again. But just looking at these smaller candles, this is what I look for some, if not absolute zero, just some really smaller range on the entry, and have a bigger, have multiple R's. If you can't get up to 8R, still to get out at something a little bit less when it's running into some resistance. So like this larger bearish candle would have been a good place to be getting out. Or if it's doing this, coming back down, get out on a rally or tighten up your stop. So you're locking a little bit of a gain. And then you come back and do it again a little bit later and look for a place to get out. So you'd be looking around $7 to get out, and instead of holding up till 10. But still getting in at 2, anywhere through here, a few places through here, get in at 2, get out at 7. That's still a 5R move, and you do it again, and you do it again. Let's see, the lows here would not have let you do 2. Low is 240. So it may not have worked here. But if you just get in at 2 and get out at 7 each time, it wouldn't have worked this. Oh, wait, 725. It would have worked here. Well, this is the one I'm basing the $7 price on, so I guess that's not fair. This had the high of 650. Anyway, it didn't make it back up to 10 on this one. If we look at the 3,500 put, this one had a little bit better range, a lot better range, because it was closer to at the money. So this dropped from 85. So 8,500 for one contract, opened at 13. So we'll zoom in on the day. So this came down much lower, took out this low significantly, came all the way down to 350. Again, some relatively smaller candles, but these are still $2 range candles. So I'm looking at 3,500, 3,475, 3,450. I'm looking at every 25 again now that we're after earnings. We'll keep doing that in the coming weeks as hopefully things start to settle down a little bit. We didn't have some exorbitant range that we were hitting, way up here in a gap, like up to 3,800 or 4,000. We're still in this range. So I'm going to get to the daily in a minute. Let me wrap this up here. So some smaller candles came in, but still getting a good level with $100 risk was harder, even on the 3,500. You get a little bit of a trend where it's making some higher lows and making some lower highs. And that's the other thing that you can look at to see some consolidation. Like I drew in this triangle, you get some consolidation right under the 21, you get some consolidation right under the $10 price. And really, as this is making some slightly smaller candles, looking to get in around 10, 10 by 9 is one of those setups I just love to get in on. That would have had a phenomenal move here. So this rollover where it's consolidated, the direction, it's giving you the signals based on the exponential moving average. It's made its move. We're back into this range and we're just chopping along. And there's so much, it's just coiled so much. It's going to have a bigger move. It should. And that's this move. So getting in like at 10 and getting out at 18 would have been a phenomenal trade. And then you had another opportunity as it retested, came back into the 21, held the 21, went sideways for like half an hour here. All the while, it's putting in some smaller candles, pulling back a little bit more. You had an opportunity to get in. Let's see, it didn't come down to 11. I was going to say 11 by 10 would have been another great entry. 1140 here, 1175. 1214. So this would have been a little bit harder, and these candles were a little too small too early. If you had this size candle later, that would have been phenomenal. So this is where you probably would look at the next strike, not the next strike, the 3475 strike to say, okay, this is retesting. It just came down to 3482, no, 3475.40. So it came down to 3475. It retested. If it can get back down to 3475, it's going to have the 3475 put is going to have a huge move. And it did. That's what we were just looking at. So from here to, so like from 145 for the next like half hour to like 215, 3475 had a great move. 3475, let's zoom back out on this. There you go. So this is the smaller candles getting in 2 by 1. And oh yeah, this was the one that didn't make it back up to 10. So this is where you're looking, where was previous resistance? Probably around 750. Okay, only got up to 725. Here's a nice bullish candle closing about 750. So 750, 725, that's a good target. Get in at 2, out at 750, or even a little earlier, there's a solid 5R. And that's just getting in on something that is holding the same level that it just rolled over from. All right, let's shift gears to the daily because there's some really cool stuff going on here. So first of all, I've had this line drawn in here as a low of this range. I can't even click on it. It's so stuck. And then we've got this one up here. So this line was the previous high, 35.52.25. We made a new high on the daily by $1.75. Okay. After hours, there's clearly a much higher high, 3.667 and .66. That's the number that's stuck in my head now. So yeah, we're channeling. So this is really sideways. From this candle here, we have not had a close below to fill this gap yet. This was a bullish gap and go that is still holding. We talked about this when we were getting down here over here. So it's been like 2 months since I've talked about this. One other thing I want to show you and remind myself. These lines work really well. And I want to get better at this. And so just so you know, if you're still watching this, give me a comment below that you're hearing this part. This is my 600th video on this channel, and I'm still learning. So this channel, not the Just AMZN channel, this channel, I just decided, I'm going to just duplicate this and see what's going on over here. So I did this just before recording this video, and I just lined it up with this low right here. And look at this. It lines up with this low. And I was a little bit stunned. And then I did one more thing. I grabbed this line and I moved it up to these lows right here. And when I slide it along, it moves the other point, but it's keeping the same angle. So I'm sliding it up to these lows, and it just hit that high. Like, not exactly in the dot. I'm not lining it up exactly. I'm just saying, look at this angle that I've had on here for like 2 years. I had this angle on here for 2 years. We ran into this as resistance. We've run into this same angle as a support here. If I had drawn this in back here, we could have been buying off of it over here. So this is what I'm saying. I want to get better at this, where I've got these things drawn in, where I take a step back on the daily and I look at, okay, where is this headed big picture? What can we figure out? What can we trade off of? And really, really hone this in. So I'm going to be spending some time over the next month or two and beyond. You know, I want to get better at the bigger picture, and down to the 5 minute. And hopefully you'll subscribe and continue to enjoy and send me some likes and some comments. And as always, hope this helps. This is Just AMZN signing off from the 600 video.